Hello everyone, welcome to Titan Web Tutorials. In this video, we will talk about the run criteria in the Salesforce integration. So this is our demo project here, and let me just show you our product catalog page. What we will cover with the get run criteria, and we will use push run criteria on the home page. So what we have here is a page with a repeated streak that we have mapped from the Salesforce get. So let's head over to our Salesforce, so project settings, Salesforce, and here we have a get setup to pull records from the product object, and we're running it on the auto trigger. In the previous videos we covered what the auto trigger means. So basically whatever we have in the condition, whenever this dynamic condition, so this is on a dynamic field, the product code is a parameter, and we have a product search input on the product page. So whenever one of these will change, it will run our get. Let me show you how this runs, and then we'll get into the run criteria and why it's important. And it doesn't really make a difference if the auto trigger is on or onload or user action. It doesn't really matter. What the run criteria gives you is a way to control. It's another step of verifying if to run this get or push or not. And when you use user action, then you have more control over this, since you can control it in the conditions. It's especially important if you use onload in a get or auto trigger in a get. All right, so let's take a look. Let's publish this project, and I'll show you why this is important. All right, so we will head over to the product catalog. We see nothing happens since we told it to auto trigger whenever we one of the parameters that in the conditions changes. So we're looking at the product code and we're looking at the product search. Now watch this. I'll click this button to set a param. Basically what this button does is just on the click, it sets a parameter for that condition that we're looking into. So let's just review it real quick so it'll be clear. So I'll head over to the interactivity effect element, and we're setting the product code parameter to 11. So this is one of our conditions. Now, if you will notice what happened now, our get ran, even though the product search was empty. In our instance, it's not such a big deal, but if you want to have, let's say, bringing in an object that depends on two different IDs, or record type ID, or in addition of record ID, it's very important that you will have these two values when you run your get, so you will show your users consistent data. So for instance, if I'll refresh this and I'll search nothing, then it will just give me all the products that I have on Salesforce, and that's not something I want to do. I want them to only be able to see products where the product code starts with 11 dash, and then on these products I want them to be able to run a search. Okay, so let's just set this up. So this is why we have the run criteria. So we're going to head back to Salesforce, and it's as simple as, let's head over to the get, and we will take a look at the run criteria, and let's add a field. So this will give you whatever fields you have on your project. You can select them and then make an operation on it. So in our instance, what we want to do is product code parameter is not empty, so we will make sure before we run the search, we will make sure that the product code is not empty. So let's just hit apply, and we can also do, for instance, that the search is not empty as well. And then only if both of these will be filled up, then the get will run. Otherwise it will just return nothing. It's not gonna run the get. So let's just leave it as the product code is not empty, and then the search will work off by that. So we'll hit apply, and let's publish this, and we'll launch the site. and product catalog, and I will search nothing now, or just search A, nothing has returned since the run criteria blocked it. If I'll click here to set a parameter, now I get the results. And if I'll do C, for instance, then I get search is working properly. So that's the get run criteria. And again, this is a bit iffy the way I set this up, just trying to break it down for you to understand how the run criteria works. So let's take a look at the push. So we're at the home, and we have a form here creating a lead. All right, so let's take a look at this. We have a mapping. Everything is mapped to the lead, and that's just a simple create. Okay, now let's head over to the Salesforce. And I'll edit the lead. And let's take a look at what we mapped here. Wonderful. All right, let's say that we only want this to run, and again, you can make the description required and all that stuff. It's just to show you how this runs. And typically what you would do here, so let's say you want to push a contact, and you want the contact to be related to the account ID or any other object with relationships, you would want to make sure that you have that ID mapped before you run the push or update, whatever it is you're running. In this video, I'm just going to make it really simple so you understand the basics of this. All right, so let's just say that right now, if the description is empty, we're able to push a lead, and we don't want this to happen. So if I'll head back to my published site, and I'll go to my home page, and let's say lead create company, put a mobile and an email, and we'll select a product, and the tell us more will leave empty. All right, so it pushed, everything is fine. And if I'll head back to Salesforce, take a look at the integration log, we can see that the lead was created. Wonderful. But what if we want to prevent this? We want to make sure that, let's see, the tell us more is full and the company is full. So we'll head back to the push, we'll edit this, and I'll say run criteria. Only run this push if, let's find our lead form. So HP create lead company, we'll do tell us more is not empty, and we'll do company is not empty. So only if these two guys are not empty, then I want you to push it. And obviously you can make these both required on the form itself, and then you don't have an issue. But I'm just trying to demonstrate sometimes you have a parameter outside of the field, outside of the form, that you cannot make sure that the user filled it up. You're grabbing it from a different source, it's coming from the URL, etc., etc. And you want to make sure before you push your data, just like before you get your data, you want to make sure you have everything you need in order to get consistent results. So I'll hit apply, and I'll publish this, and I'll launch the site. And let's go over here, and I'll do test run criteria, and we'll leave the company empty, and let's put a mobile number in and an email, and we'll select a product, and I'll hit save. Even though it says thank you as if everything ran, it didn't happen. So I'll head back to the Salesforce, and I'll take a look at the integration logs. I can see I have no new pushes. If I'll head back there, and let's fill in the description. Okay, so tell us more, and I'll hit save, and I'll go back here and refresh it. I still see nothing has changed. if I'll go over here, and again, you can reset and show the user a fail message, etc., etc. And in this instance, it will be the simplest just to make these required, and that's that. But just to proving the point here, so I'll do some company, and I'll hit save. Now our run criteria will be we'll set both are true. Then we should see our push happen. So I'm going to give it a little refresh again, and here it is. So now once our criteria has matched, it ran our push. So if I'll log into Salesforce, I'll be able to see that lead created. So this is our run criteria.